So hello Asma, welcome here to the European Parliament. We're happy to have you here as a guest. And first, we wanted to ask you, what did motivate you when you start working for peace building?
I was involved in 2011, like many youth in Libya in the war. I was a field nurse for a while, and then when I was seeing the complexities of the war and witnessing things around me, the first thing I think that came up to my head is that I want to learn about peace. When I left the hospital and then worked on youth issues and women's issues for a while, and I was collecting money to actually do my master's in peace and conflict studies and equip myself and be a good resource person to be able to um, um, establish some kind of a peace movement in Libya.
So you start working really on the field, helping people, and this is what motivates you. I
Yeah,
mean, that was your trigger.
it was a need
It
that
was
I
a need.
saw. Yes.
And when did you start? How old were you when you started working?
So I started working on women's issues about when I was 16. But that's nothing political because it wasn't allowed during the dictatorship. It was mainly collecting funds and assisting women and maybe reporting some violations, helping them with police issues and other things like that. But then when I worked in 2011, which was on my 21st, I was 21-year-old when I started working, and I haven't stopped since then.
Wow. So it's really great to hear that you start so young working as a peace activist.
Yeah.
I suppose you have encountered a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulties as a peace activist. Could you tell us and share with us which were the main challenges that you have faced?
Absolutely. The war, in a war dynamic, it also affects people who actually want to work for peace. So the civil society in Libya has been always somewhat fragmented and divided. And then we had international organizations that had funds and wanted to make projects, and that created a competitiveness between people. So you would find people doing many things, but they're not connected, they're not working together. And I see that is something that is still lacking in Libya, and it's still hindering us from having a strong movement, is that people want to have a strong project, but they don't want to include this so they could get the funds for the next project from whatever organization. And then there's also, which I find in the Middle East overall, there's the translation of peace in practice and peace in theory. So you have people who work doing many things which you could call peace. They might not call it peace work, but in theory it's not translated yet for them. So in their work it's not structured, it's not organized, it's not strategic because it's missing a lot of that, and that's what I'm trying to bring when of my studies to these organizations, the theory and the strategy and the practical part of peace rather than just making random projects.
So if I understand correctly, it's exactly the governance, the project management, and everything that will help this local organization be more efficient.
But also understanding what peace is instead of this universal image of peace as, hippies and peace for people who do not know what to do, or peace for people who are weak even. And that's an image that still exists within a lot of Libyans. I mean, and sometimes I understand it, because if you face militias with their guns and you say I want peace, then people are looking at you like you are insane. I mean, these people are going to kill you, so how are you going to manage that? And there is a lot of literature that is missing in Arabic and resources that are missing in Arabic on peace building. So I bring more raising capacities on the skills of project management and strategic planning and work plans and having coherent plans, but I also bring good definitions of peace building, structured well, good statistics on actual successes of peace building approaches, gender sensitive materials, holistic approaches that links peace building with civil resistance, non-violence, civic engagement, gender equality. So these are all of the core things that I give in my work to the organizations in Libya.
Wow, it's quite amazing. You are trying to bring in together a lot of notions, a lot of
Yes.
practical things on the ground, and I'm sure that is not easy. And who are currently the organization that helps you the most? I mean, who are the different associations or the different people that help you more to achieve your project?
So I have this project on peace building. We're doing it on our own. So I work for free to do it with this organization that provides, to the NGO provides the place and the people, and I work. We have requests from organizations to assist this project, but we wanted to see how successful it will be, or how it will be received by Libyans activists, especially when it comes to nonviolent resistance and other things, which is very unfamiliar to a lot of activists. And given that we are a very young civil society and very inexperienced and don't have enough good skills, international organizations tend to control projects. They control the outcomes and they control the inputs, and you just have to work towards whatever they have in plan already before they came, regardless of needs assessment or whatsoever. So we wanted to do it without any control of anybody, just the way we wanted to do, as experimenting and testing. So maybe in the future, if it becomes big and many organizations want to involve, then I'd actively try to get support from international organizations to help it get a bit bigger. Yeah.
Perfect, I see. And I'm sure that you start working for peace because somebody has inspired you, or you had an emotional connection to somebody who you admire.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna pass to the question: who
Yeah.
inspires you the most in terms of peace building, and who is for you the person that inspired you most, and you think every day about it as a
First,
idol?
as who inspired me, or who's continuing to inspire me?
Who is continuing to inspire you?
Well, there's not a specific person. However, I'm very, very inspired and empowered by my partner first, who also works in the field. And he is almost effortlessly, tirelessly, never stops working. And when I sometimes have my ups and downs, I see that, and that's very inspiring and makes me up and work. But when I go and work and visit these IDP camps and see the work they're trying to do, or go to another NGO and consult them in their projects and see how they're doing, that's very inspiring. I think what inspires me is the will to achieve peace of other human beings, and that could be anywhere. So I would be inspired by any human being who wants to work for peace.
That's great, because you find the energy in
Yeah.
people around you who want to achieve peace.
Yeah.
That's great. And I will ask you now, what do you think that it should be done more in terms of peace building? What should the world and organizations around the world should do more in order to achieve peace awareness, peace trainings, especially in younger generation? How should we give more peace training?
So you have a mix. You need a mix of all of that. I mean, from my experience, I found that there are many layers to conflicts, and so the solution needs to be multi-layered as well, and multifaceted. So yes, you need capacity building, you need awareness, but it really needs to be integrated in every aspect. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to have a workshop on peace building. It could be, I'm going to have a workshop on how can we decrease a child marriage, and how can we link that to peace building, because that is a part of it. If it's a conference on let's have interfaith dialogue, then how can we link that to peace building? How can we, as movements and organizations all around, connect around the core and essential values that we all work on, whether we call ourselves humanitarian, or we call ourselves peace workers, or we call ourselves aid workers, or whatever. We all have these values that we want a better life conditions for human beings everywhere, and for people to reach their full potential without violence. So how can we link that and call it all peace building?
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.